Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV Let's Play series. So, I took some time to do some leveling off of camera. I know I said, I don't like to, have that disconnect, but I had a lot of leveling to do. So, I got my Black Mage up to 30, my Gladiator still 19, and my White Mage is 34, and I'm ready to do Brayflox. So, I've mentioned before, this is probably the first real difficult dungeon that you'll come across, whether you be a tank or a healer. DPS, you just do what DPS do. So I'm gonna queue into this as a healer and give you a perspective. That's not the duty finder, this is the duty finder. Brayflox's Longstop, and then after this we'll also have Titan. So I'm preparing Black Mage footage and Paladin footage for Brayflox when I can get my character levels up to that point. With patch 2.5 launching this week, there may be a slight delay in releases for this series. I'm not sure because I did so much leveling outside of recording that I'm lacking footage for the week of February, February 22nd through the 28th. So this week ends on the 28th, right? 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. Yeah, 28th. So, yeah, February 22nd to the 28th. I'm lacking footage. So, I don't know how many of these I'll be able to get out. I'm hopefully be able to get out White Mage and Black Mage. But Gladiator is probably going to take quite some time to get done. Come on, I saw both the DPS and the queue. What happened? Come on. Come on. Alright, never mind. I guess, nope. So, this is the first real dungeon where, as a healer, you may just have to not DPS at all. It really depends on if you're going in with a group of friends or if you're going in to the duty finder and you have a level 32 tank that's running level 15 gear and he's getting wrecked. So that's pretty much the case for all dungeons, but this dungeon, the enemies just hit harder. It's just kind of like a commonly accepted thing that this is the first dungeon where damage is a serious consideration for issue. So, we have a warrior also. Now, there's nothing wrong with warriors in particular, but I would like to mention that warriors don't have... They have defiance, so holding aggro is a lot easier for them here. And they're happy that we have two ninjas, apparently. He's also level 33, so he's not the minimum level for the dungeon. Wow, and the first thing somebody said, one of the ninjas, was, oh, thank God, a tank with more than 32 Marauder. So you can already see that my party is kind of like, oh, thank God, we have a tank that's level 33, he's got 2k HP. It looks like we're in pretty good situation here with our tank. I'm just going to Stone Skin everybody up. Luckily, at level 50, you get Stone Skin 2 as a White Mage, and you can just, you can just hit Stone Skin 2 before you pull. Let's see if the other ninja remembers to put kisses on. I'm not sure why we're not pulling yet. I wonder if he's setting a few things up. Oh, because he's typing. If that ninja forgets to put his kiss up, I'm sure the other ninja will remind him. So this is... Now, because I have a warrior tank, it's actually almost a waste of time to try and sleep anything in here. Now, I'm going to just start with basic healing here. I want to gauge. This is only 2 enemies, but you can already kind of see how much damage he's taking and how my Cure 1s are, like, barely even affecting him. Warriors specifically take a lot of damage in this dungeon, but their enmity generation is so good that as long as you can keep them alive, you shouldn't have to worry too much. Obviously, you can always run across a tank that has, a less than stellar performance, but I think we're going to have a pretty easy dungeon here. I think that maybe when I'm playing my DPS, I'm feeling like when I play my DPS is when I'm going to run across my unlucky streak and have a tank that's kind of like under-leveled or under-geared for it. So we probably have a few first-timers in here. So be prepared. This might be a long run with, pulling most of the enemies. I don't mind that at all. It's just a matter of, I gotta kind of keep that in mind. And like you can see here, if I can already tell if I take my hand off of the cure, that he is going to take a major spike in damage. So now at this level, as a White Mage, you do have some extra tools to work with. We now have free cure procs, which are really, really good. I explained in the previous video that it allows you to basically cast Cure 1 on the target, and then if you get a free cure proc, it gives you a free cure too, which is really great because you can use it to save MP, you can use it for big burst healing, and sometimes they just come at clutch moments. The other thing that you have at this level now is Stone Skin. Now, that's a big thing because a lot of healers misuse Stone Skin during especially low-level fights when they're learning. So, one thing I like to do with Stone Skin is right as an enemy's about to die, I try to land a Stone Skin on the tank so that he'll have it up for the next pull. It's something that not a lot of healers go out of their way to do, but it's something that I like to do because you don't want to Stone Skin mid-pull. You don't want to just start spamming Stone Skin mid-pull. It costs a lot of MP, and while the mitigation is good, it just runs your MP dry, and most of the time is unnecessary because, you know, a lot of healers have the instinct to, you know, oh, their HP is below 0, let me throw a cure on them. Well, a lot of people do this, generate the same habit with Stone Skin. Oh, he just lost Stone Skin, let me recast it. You know, it'll cost you so much MP. Having it up before a pull is good. Oh, Jesus. But spamming it mid-pull, I would avoid that. Alright, he's going to need a cure 2 here. I'm not even going to bother getting rid of it. Their Stone Skins managed to keep it up. Another thing you'll want to learn to do with Stone Skin is try to apply it when big hits are coming from bosses. Now, at this level, that's very, very hard to predict, and most of the big hits can be dodged or have no sort of indication that they're on their way. So it takes a little bit of practice. At this level, you'll mostly just be trying to Stone Skin your tank at the very end of a pull. That way, they'll have Stone Skin at the start of the next pull, which usually gives you a little bit of time to do some extra DPS. Like, I'm going to do it right here. And I'm also going to start Stone Skinning all of my allies as well, myself included, because I know there's a boss fight coming up here. You really want to try and get Stone Skins on everyone before a boss fight, but because you have to cast Stone Skin 4 times, that doesn't always work out that way. A lot of people will just run up ahead, and you won't have time to do that. It's nice if you can somehow get it done, but it's not mandatory. And at level 50 as a white mage, you have Stone Skin 2, which you can just swift cast before the fight starts, and it's a giant AoE Stone Skin. Whereas Scholar doesn't have that. Scholar would have to do all the Stone Skins individually in a 4-man dungeon. So this is the first boss of Brayflox, and boss hits pretty hard. I should really get those Asunas. I should really get some Asunas off here because he's double poisoned from the ads. But this boss can be a real pain if your tank isn't very good at picking up ads or they run out of TP or MP for whatever reason. My group went out of the way to explain the fight to anyone who was new, and this warrior is doing a pretty good job so far. But you can see, like, one hit taking, like, a half of his HP, or an auto attack plus a beak taking, like, a ridiculous amount of his HP. So, other than the boss just hitting kind of hard, which, you know, isn't too big of a deal, he also summons ads at the door, which is where the tank is, you know, getting himself ready right now. So he can just do this. As soon as they spawn, which yep, that way they don't come after me and wreck my face. So when these things spawn, I like to pop, I'm going to pop Presence of Mind. That way I can give him the extra healing that he needs, especially because he took that hit right there, the paralysis. So now I want to get rid of that. Luckily, we have double ninjas, so we have double goad, so the TP thing is probably not an issue here. But you can see that how much damage he takes. I don't have that much time to go out of my way and DPS. This is probably the first dungeon where that's going to be a thing, where you're probably just going to end up focusing mostly on healing. I also wouldn't have the MP. With how long this fight is taking, and you can see my MP is already at, you know, below half. If you don't use ethers at this point, this dungeon will probably go through a lot of your MP really, really fast. I'm hoping for some free cure procs, so I don't need to do anything too crazy. I'm also gonna move in close that way because they're coming after me. I figured they probably might. He can at least pull them off of me. I'm still getting hit. I think they're just trying to Zerg the boss down, which I'm just gonna heal myself. It's not that big of an issue. And bam, yeah, it's a pretty good group. I'm pretty happy with this group thus far. Let's see what we got loot-wise. I could really use that for my Black Mage, actually. And I won it. So great. Now, what level was that? I didn't even see. I think it was 32. Good. My Black Mage and 2 more levels will be able to use that when I come in here. That was actually a really, really good drop to get. Also, this guy, still poisoned. He's also still back there. So, his poison doesn't matter. So at this point, I could DPS this, but it's not that big of a deal. So the second part of Brayflox right here, there's a bunch of Goblin Pathfinders that you're going to run into or you're going to see. And when you approach them, they're going to get attacked by a bunch of enemies. If you manage to save them from being killed, then they'll spawn a chest, and that chest usually has, like, potions, or it can have an accessory or something like that. So it's recommended that, yeah, like, as you can see, he just dropped a treasure coffer. The treasure coffer had a high potion in it, you know, big whoop. I forget which ones. I think that one right there always has a piece of gear, and I'm not sure about the one that's up there on that ledge. But it doesn't really hurt to go out of your way to kill the extra enemies here. This is actually a pretty, I don't want to say short dungeon, because it's one of the few dungeons that has 4 bosses instead of 3. But at the same time, the amount of time it takes to get between bosses is not very high in this dungeon. Like, the first boss is you go out into the first room, you kill 3 packs of enemies, and you're at the first boss. This one, mandatory, you kill that first enemy, you kill these 2, and then you kill that set that you see up ahead. And then if you want to ignore the goblins, you could just go straight to the you can go straight to the second boss at that point. And then the second to third boss, there's a lot of enemies, but you can skip most of them. And then the third to fourth boss is, again, like 2 or 3 trash pulls. It's not that much trash. It's not like Hawk Manor where, like, you're in the basement and you have 2 enemies in the first room after you open the ivory door. You have the Manor maid servant wandering around. You have all the ads that are in the optional rooms. You have at least 2 or 3 packs. It's not like that. It's just a couple of small packs, a couple of small hard-hitting packs more specifically. And then the boss, you know, it's not like that. So I have a free cure proc here, but I'm not going to use it because you don't want to cure 2 right at the start of a fight. And another thing is, when I hit level 35, probably I'll talk about it in the next dungeon that I show healing, which will be Sunken Temple, will be, you know what, I just realized Sunken Temple, I can get there in 1 level. So I'll be able to do Titan and Sunken Temple this week. Maybe I won't be out for footage. Maybe everything will be okay. Also, 35 is where warriors first get Inner Beast. So, level 30, they kind of just get the extra enmity and the extra healing received. But at 35 is where it gets good. So, yeah, you don't want to pop a big cure 2 right at the start and then pull aggro on everything. 35, when you get regen, same deal. You don't want to pop a regen right before your tank pulls and pull aggro on everything. Luckily, this dungeon is going pretty smooth. That guy just come back? I didn't see if he was still AFK or not, because I remember him being AFK after the first boss. I didn't actually see if he came back or anything. Alright. Welcome back. Maybe he typed AFK and I just didn't see it. Because somebody just said welcome back. Yeah, he probably said that he went AFK. I just didn't notice it. I'm busy doing the recording, guys. So, one thing that we did is we kind of hugged this wall before going down this way. So it looks like they're going to opt out skipping, saving that Pathfinder. When you approach the Pathfinders when the ads spawn, like right now, ads just spawned up here. So if we want to save him, we got to act quick. Also, if you're a healer, fancy moves, if you notice your Pathfinder's taking a bunch of damage, you can actually heal them up. I'm going to do that just this time. It's not something that most people probably go out of their way to do. Also, this guy's taking a truckload of damage, so I'll hit him with a Cure 2. This is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of damage that you should be used to your tanks taking. It's very common for tanks to get hit as hard as you just saw. So, that's why it's so hard to get the extra DPS out. Also, free Cure proc. Love it. Love it. Heal for 648. Now, my gear is level 30-ish, so it's not bad. It could be a little bit better for this dungeon, but it's probably the expected level of power going in. Especially considering a lot of it is Grand Company gear. Also, that was a wasted Cure 2. Actually, that ended up being an alright Cure 2. There's just a lot of little tricks here that you can learn as a healer in this first actually difficult dungeon. This dungeon also gets immensely harder if you don't have good DPS. Like, having a good tank helps as a healer. Having a good healer helps as a tank. But if you have slow DPS, it can be a royal pain going through, especially this boss. So I think he's going to go back. I don't think he noticed the Pathfinder the first time around. Totally optional. You don't have to save this guy. You don't have to do anything. I don't know if he wants to pull it or he wants to skip it. All right, he's deciding to skip it. Now, I think they're going to quickly explain this. I'm going to try and get my stone skins up before we pull this. We'll see how far I get. Sometimes groups will wait. They'll see you start casting the stone skins, and they'll be like, all right. I'll let him finish casting the stone skins first. And this is the boss where it really helps to have the extra stone skins, because most people just kind of ignore the mechanics for this fight. It's not a super difficult fight. It's just, it's annoying what happens in this fight, if anything. It's also a fight where at the start I can do a little bit of DPS, but after this it's pretty much going to be, you know, full-blown no opportunity. And you're going to see why in a few seconds here, because this isn't the only enemy that we're going to fight, although he is definitely the, you know, highlight of it. It's that thing, the Tempest Biased, or Tempest Biast. I don't know what the heck it's pronounced. But it starts the fight chasing Brayflox around. Brayflox all talks. And then after it does about, you know, a little bit more than halfway, you can pull aggro on it, and you should focus it down because it doesn't have that much HP. But now that Brayflox is here, he's going to help with, or she, I'm sorry, Brayflox is a she. She is going to help with doing a little bit of extra damage, but what's going to happen at some point is Brayflox is going to piss off these enemies and do this. Watch. It yeah. There. Alright, never mind. Yeah, so there it is. He basically pulls aggro on the enemy and then forces one of the enemies to do a breath attack on him. So it almost forces players to sort of eat a breath. In that case, it was the one that did the paralysis, and it also hit the ninja, which it hit them pretty hard, but it wasn't so bad. And then, so he pulls aggro here, and then he picks somebody to stand next to. So he's picking me. So I'm going to stand over here and just be prepared to heal myself, really. See? I'm pretty sure there's a way to prevent that, but almost nobody does it. Also, he has a thing where he can empower himself so that when he takes hits, it deals damage to people. So that's why our melees were taking damage there, what seemed like for no reason. Also, okay, didn't pick me this time, so I'm going to stand way over here. This person's going to get hit pretty hard. Also, spinning around. Does that work? Yeah, see, that does not work. Actually, that did work, I think, but he hit the main tank with it, who's now at very low HP. So if you really want, you can just run around in circles, because it looked like the only damage that he took was from the Blaze Spikes effect. Honestly, if you have a healer that's paying attention, you can survive it just by doing whatever. But yeah, not too difficult of a boss, but it can definitely overwhelm healers when people get wrecked by this ability that we're not going to let him do another time. It can really, really throw people off. Infantry belt. Am I going to need that for anything? Nah, that's just Disciples of War. I'm probably not going to level any Disciple of War other than my Paladin up to that level. Okay, so let me get some stone skins off. Wow, it got real quiet in here all of a sudden. It got real quiet in here. Also, I just realized I do have stone skin for my healer now, but I'm not going to equip it because I don't want to get hit with that 30-second downtime. But Swift Cast, very important ability as a white mage. Trust me, you're going to want to get Thaumaturge to 26 at least. If not, actually, you know, play it past that point. You want to at least get it to 26 for Swift Cast. That is an ability I consider mandatory for level 50 white mages. If you do not have it, you should make it your priority upon getting 50. Just make it a top priority, because whether it be Swift Cast, Res, you know what, I actually am going to take the hit with my cross-class skills. I think if I do it at the... No, I can't do it right here. See, that's the thing. It's like, now I don't have a good time to do it. Because, like, I can't do it during this pull. I can't go 30 seconds without healing him. I'm not a scholar. I can't go 30 seconds without abilities. If I was a scholar, this would be no problem. But I'm not a scholar. So it is a problem. Also, that cure 2 is so unnecessary. These AoEs can also be really, really hard to see in the ground. But they increase magic vulnerability. As long as your main tank doesn't get hit by it, it's not so bad. Why do I keep casting cure 2? But if your main tank gets hit by it and then these things do stagnant breath, it is going to hurt a lot. As you can see, our ninja just stayed in it. He didn't even care. He was just like, it doesn't do damage. It just makes it so that if we get hit by magic damage, it'll hurt more. Also, tank just... I don't know if that was the tank or one of the ninjas, but somebody just stunned it right there, which is another way of handling that. Alright, I'm going to stone skin him. See, I wish I could just stone skin him and then equip Swift Cast. I actually might have an opportunity right here. Like, when this thing's about to die, we're going back here. There's treasure coffers in these little side areas. It's only one enemy, so I'm actually going to take this opportunity and do it now. Do not do this at home, because most people will probably hate you for it. Also, I am having trouble navigating with the controller. Set to hotbar, assigned to hotbar. There we go. Oh, it didn't even affect it. I could have... Oh, maybe it was removing an ability. I thought that that was going to reset my cooldowns there, but I was wrong. Not a big deal. Well, now I have Swiftcast, so now Swiftcast is waiting on its cooldown. Swiftcast, you're pretty much going to want to save as a white mage. There's multiple scenarios where you can use it. When you're doing speedruns at level 50, a popular thing to do is Swiftcast Holy. Because Holy is a giant AoE stun, it also basically mitigates damage that the tank will take during big pulls. So if you Swiftcast Holy and stun everything for, you know, 4 seconds or whatever it is, that's 4 seconds of them not taking damage, which gives you time to catch up on healing, cast another Holy, do whatever you want, really. Also, you can use it if you mess up using your stone skins, and you can, you know, use it to Swiftcast Stone Skin. I'm not going to do it. I was about to do it. I was considering it, but decided not to. I decided against it. All right. We're more than halfway through the dungeon. I know I said there's 4 bosses and that, you know, we've beaten 2 of them. But still, because this part can take a while between the second and third boss, I didn't want to say we were halfway until we were about halfway between bosses 2 and 3, because most of the trash pulls are in this part of the dungeon. Look at this. Only 2 painted Calibris, and... Oh, it was 3. Now it's 2. But you can see the kind of damage that tanks take in this place. It's a lot. It can really catch new healers off guard. I'm thankful we have 2 strong DPS who are both performing. And we have a tank. I actually don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention if this tank has been using Foresight at all. At this level, warriors really don't have much defensive cooldowns. Pretty much all they have, I think, is Foresight. I don't know if they have Thrill of Battle yet. I don't remember the level they learn a lot of these things. They don't have Storm's Path. They don't have... yeah, they're missing a lot of tools. They don't have Vengeance, I don't think. I'm trying to think of what... Okay. I guess we'll keep going this way. I thought maybe they'd want to go back that way and get the treasure coffer, but never mind. So, yep, we're just going to sneak around and get to this pull. This pull right here is the last pull before the third boss. And it's probably the hardest pull because we're probably also going to get that Swamp Pugil. We may or may not get it, depending on what happens here. So you can see, again, that Wormhound, it has an AoE, hard to see in the water. Big thing that happens a lot here is tanks get hit by AoEs, or even melee get hit by AoEs just because they can't see them in the water. It's very, very common. You just have to be kind of prepared and paying attention for it. May or may not. Yeah, that thing's going to aggro. I'm going to... Nope. We're good. It aggroes by sight, and it didn't see us. It just swam past us. Good. Good. This dungeon's going really well so far. Not sure where people... Oh, you know, never mind. The Wormhound is dealing damage. Wormhound does a really quick AoE cast around him. There's not really too much you can do about that. I'm going to start stone skinning myself for the next fight. I'm not going to bother stone skinning them yet because of that AoE right there. Now I'm going to start stone skinning. I shouldn't have stone skinned the tank first, but... Because now I'm just going to have to re-stone skin him. Just prepping for the fight. Going to re-stone skin the tank. He might lose it right here, yeah. And there we go. So now we're moving on to the third boss, Hellbender. This boss, pretty simple. Does the same attacks as the other Fs in the area. And also sometimes encases somebody in a bubble. If you get encased in that bubble, you need to have... You can DPS it yourself, but it's best to have one of your DPS come over and attack it for you. You'll see here if I get encased in one, that you can actually attack it yourself. I think I'm at range, and I'm pretty sure it prioritizes ranged targets. So we'll see here in a second. Should be happening any second now. Boss is dying at a pretty fast rate. Yeah. Okay, no. Alright, no, that's not the attack. It also has an attack. It just spits at random people like you just saw. It does an AoE. So if you have multiple melee, they'll probably take splash damage. Honestly, I would recommend as a melee moving out of the moving out of that AoE during this fight. I was going to break it, but for some reason I'm having trouble targeting it with the controller. Trust me, you can target it. If I use my mouse, I'll target it next time. Pretty sure it prioritizes range, so it should go after me again. But yeah, because of that attack right there... Okay, never mind. I went after him. So that guy can break himself out of his own bubble. But because you can heal them in there, it's not even that big of a deal. Why can't I target this bubble? Oh, there it is. I am targeting the bubble. It's just hard to see. I probably targeted the bubble like 5 times there and didn't even notice. Alright. Just throw a few more cures. Now, as the boss gets low on HP, this is going to happen. You'll see it in a few seconds here. Come on, a few more seconds. Alright, we got one more person encased in a bubble. One more person. There we go. I'll break him out. Why not? I'm not even going to switch to whatever it's called. Cleric stance. Yeah, whatever it's called. And there it is. So eventually, this thing will come down and wreck the boss's face. You don't have to fight this thing for too long. You just have to kind of hit it for a little while, and then it'll fly away, and the encounter will be over. This guy doesn't do anything special. He does a big cone attack, which, you know, you have to try and dodge. But, again, hard to see. That's another reason why I mentioned it. This guy's breath attack can be hard to see when you're at this point in the dungeon. He also has poisons. Okay, now he's flying away. We can't move on yet, so while it's waiting to tell us we've beaten the fight, I'm gonna start stone skinning people. And now we have the last bit of trash before the final boss. Alright, and there we go. Let's see what kind of loot we got. Battle Mage's Hat. I will need on that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, and I have no room for it in my armory chest. What should I get rid of? I'll get rid of this, because no, I said I'll get rid of it. Yes, there we go. Discard. Probably have vendored it, but whatever. And there we go. Now I have on the hat. I have on the hat. I can use that on my Black Mage too. So I got 2 pieces for my Black Mage. One of them I can also use on my healer. So we're off to a pretty good start here. If with any luck, I'll get a weapon from the last boss. Because I don't think I can... I don't know when I can get my next Grand Company weapon. I think I need to be rank 2 in order to get it. And I still need to finish... getting the rest of my Grand Company hunting log done, I think. I'm pretty sure I can finish it at this point. My White Mage is 34. I think the highest level enemy in the rank 1 is level 35. But I need more Grand Company seals. I think it's the bigger problem. So I gotta do more fates is what I gotta do. My other alt, I've been doing fates like crazy just to keep my Grand Company seals up. And I probably want to cap my Grand Company seals before patch 2.51 just in case. You never know. You never know when you're going to need them. Alright. Start casting the Stone Skin. There. Now they're good for the next pull. If you're a Scholar, you can, and you have Stone Skin cross-classed, you can technically get an Eloquium and a Stone Skin before they do the next pull. Honestly, most healers won't even bother doing that. It's just something I like to make mention of in case you want to be one of those healers that, you know, goes above and beyond. Some healers like to do it. I'm also going to recast Protect. Although, honestly, right now is not the appropriate time to recast it. It still had 3 minutes left. Let's just say I don't want to forget. Because I'll probably have said, oh yeah, I'm going to cast this right now. And then I would have just completely forgot. So yeah, they're getting completely wrecked. I'm going to have to... Oh man, that was a good crit. That was a very good crit. So in case you're wondering, the tank is getting these stacks. It's got 5 stacks right now. In case you're wondering why those stacks aren't doing anything... They're basically just increased crit chance at this point. They used to provide extra healing per stack, but now that's built right into Defiance, and you can expend them to use powerful abilities, Steel Cyclone, Inner Beast, Unchained, all those things. At level 30, at level 33 more specifically, you don't have any of those abilities yet. You literally just have Defiance, which enables the gain of the stacks, but you can't actually use them yet. Alright, they're stopping for a second, probably to type something. Let's jump around. Low on TP. Well, that's what goad is for. Ninjas. More goad. Ninjas. More goad. I know one of the ninjas has been goading him. I haven't been paying attention to see if both of them have been goading him. In a dungeon like this, because there's not a lot of AoEing, the only person who's probably AoEing at all is the tank. ninjas, or rogues even, use your goad on the tank in this case. If both of you... Yeah, see, there we go. That was a goad. If both of you aren't AoEing at all, and you don't need to goad each other, because there's two ninjas, goad the tank. If you don't have a melee DPS that's AoEing, goad the tank. Unless it's a paladin, because paladins don't use TP as much as warriors do. Now, I'm going to make mention of this, but a lot of groups are going to skip it. If you go down that way, where you see the Comet Chasers and the Ash all the way at the bottom, there's a Coral. There's a treasure chest down there. Oh, maybe he is going to go that way. There's a treasure coffer down there that sometimes, doesn't always do it, but sometimes gives a ring that is a class-specific ring. So, like, there's a rogue's ring and a pugilist's ring and a white mage's or a conjurer's ring. So if you go out of your way, there's a chance that when you go down there, you can get one of the 10 rings. Actually, I think it might be 9 rings, because I think it's an Arcanist ring. It's not a Summoner and Scholar ring. But sometimes it just gives you potions. So it's totally up to you if you're the tank, whether or not you want to try and go down that way to get the extra loot. I appreciate it when tanks go out of their way to do that. I'm glad that this one seems to be doing that. We'll see if it actually pans out that way. But I would like to get a ring. You've seen, I've been kind of neglecting my accessories. I actually went out of my way and bought an earring finally, which you've seen that I've just completely ignored. Okay, both ninjas are definitely goading. So yeah, hopefully we get a nice ring from this. And this ring will last you a pretty long time. And by pretty long time, I mean probably like one more dungeon. Probably till Sunken Temple. Keep in mind that this is the last dungeon you have to do for the main story until Stone Vigil, which is level 41. So if you don't do Cutter's Cry at all, or don't do Sunken Temple at all, there is a chance that you will be very, very, very undergeared when you get to Stone Vigil, which is another reason why Stone Vigil can be a pain in the ass. Excuse my language. Because a lot of people just don't get that many gear upgrades between doing this and doing that. And it just makes Stone Vigil a nightmare. Obviously, you know, I've showed you, by doing side quests, you can usually get up-to-date gear every few levels. If you actually, like, unlike me, actually go out of your way and do the side quests past, like, level 15 maybe, it can be very rewarding. But a lot of people, they just miss it, or they just get it for Gil. You know, it's just common for it to not be a big thing. We didn't get it. We got a high potion. Boo-hoo. It's nice when you get the ring, but not always. So at this point now, we're on the final boss. What is this dungeon taking me? About a little bit more than 30 minutes. You know, you start with 90 minutes. We're at a little bit under 60 minutes left. So not so bad. Mapping the realm. So this boss is really all on the tank. Your DPS killing it fast helps, but this fight is almost entirely a tank fight, because it is the tank's responsibility to drag the boss out of any of the poison puddles that it spawns. Now, there are things that the other players can do to help make this easier. For example, if you see the boss turn and face you as a melee, you can run away from the boss just in time to make sure that a poison puddle doesn't drop under him. If you do that, then you never need to move this boss. This boss also hits really, really hard. After, I think, about 50%, it starts hitting really, really hard. If you get hit by those also, yeah, as you can see, it is a pain. It is especially a pain if you are a scholar in this dungeon, because scholars don't yet have leeches, and they don't have, they don't have, you know, the equivalent of a Suna, which is called leeches. So it means that, you know, you can't get rid of these poisons, and these poisons are stacking poisons. Every time he adds a stacking poison to the tank, if they're getting hit by breath attacks, it's bad. It hits really, really hard when it starts stacking up like 4 or 5 times. So being a white mage in this dungeon is pretty beneficial, since I can get rid of all those poison stacks, but it's mostly on the puddles. If you have a tank that doesn't move it out of the puddles, or thinks that they've moved out of the puddles, but they actually haven't moved it enough, it's gonna be bad. We'll see what happens here if this ends up being a good example of what not to do. Okay, so he's doing that attack. So now the tank needs to move the boss out of the puddle. And I don't think okay, he does know that. He's moving. So you really have to make sure that the entire hitbox is out of the puddle. That is a common mistake where, whoops, how the heck do I focus target? I forgot. No, I don't want to lock on. I don't want to lock on. That's the wrong thing. Yeah, so if you're looking at the enemy's hitbox, you really need to make sure the whole hitbox is out of the effect. It can be a little bit hard to do sometimes, but you can also notice if the boss has what looks like a healing symbol under, then you know. You know that needs to be done. See, with that, what he just did is what I... Yeah, okay, never mind. He didn't run quite far enough. The boss is still inside the hitbox. But he tried to do it. You saw how he tried to, like, move out of melee range as he got targeted by the poison puddle. That's exactly what I was talking about, where as a melee, you can still technically get away from it. Now, the annoying thing is when it goes after the main tank, because it's just annoying. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, the tank can do the same thing that I recommended for the melees, but it's just annoying. And you can see, like, I'm getting nervous about my MP, because the longer this fight takes, the harder that gets to maintain your MP. Especially because, unlike, you know, I don't have any MP regeneration abilities yet, so it makes this fight a real pain. I don't even have Divine Seal yet, which would be great for this fight. And then he starts doing this, where he starts AoEing people, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. So you need to make this a speedy fight, because otherwise your healer's going to run out of MP, and it's going to be bad news bears. We're doing all right. You know, we've had a lot of melee range puddles, and we're about to have another one. Oh, that's a terrible play. He's going to have to run it across the room. He's got no choice. Oh no, he's got to run it back the other way. He's got to make some moves. He's got to run the other way. Like, yeah, he's not out of the puddle. He's just healing and healing and healing. It's very, very important that you move quickly, because he's just standing in the puddle. Yeah, just keep going back. Just keep going back. That speed, because that makes this fight just take that much longer. All right. Now it's on the tank. So he's got to move. He's trying to pull it back to where he first did it. He needs to, yeah, he needs to move more. You really need to drag it out. Like, it needs to go far. All right. And you can see I'm not just going up when people start getting hit. You see I'm not just going up and spamming Medica. Medica's 145 MP. And it's not going to heal for as much. Like, if I scroll over it real quick, it's got a potency of 300. My Cure 1 potency is 400. Also, this is bad, because he's still alive and we need to move. No, like, you need to... Yeah, it needs to be dragged over to this side of the room. There we go. Alright. He didn't heal for too much. Yeah. We're good. We're good. We're good. And he dodged most of those flame breaths. I think he only got hit by the first one, which was honestly perfect, because it was just enough for me to show you how much... Alright, that's it. just kill it. There we go. Alright, it was a pretty good dungeon. And, you know, everybody knew what to do, so it went pretty quickly. Gotta say, overall, very happy with the performance of this dungeon. And the loot is... no. I'm not gonna roll on that. I'm not gonna use it. I don't know who to give this to. The tank, everyone did a pretty good job. I'm just going to give it to the tank. Tank moved things out of the poison puddles. Made me happy. So, I'm good. So, I'm going to exit the dungeon. And that's going to be healing Brayflox. Not too long of a video. 38 minutes. Not so bad. It could have taken a lot longer. It also could have been shorter at some points, but no big deal. Thank you for watching. I'll do my best to get the rest of the videos out, but right now I am feeling a little lightheaded, so I'm going to go lay down. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next part for my Let's Play series, and until then, take care.